Hey guys, I'm Layla. Today we are in Raid Shadow Legends, and we're going to be checking out this Hydra team that we're going to be seeing right here. This is going to be courtesy of Lewis. So primarily the stars of the show, which we're going to be showing off today, is going to be Pheidi, who's there primarily for support and debuffs, increasing turn meter, and Acrizia, because Acrizia is basically our main damage here. So let's go check them out. Okay, first up is going to be Pheidi Tealcrest. Really cool looking champ. So if you're not familiar with Pheidi, Pheidi is a support legendary where the A1 Zephyr Lance hits twice, and each hit heals all allies by 5% of this champ's max HP. Makes me kind of think of like a Syl of the Drakes, right? Each hit also has a 75% chance to fill the turn meter of the ally with the lowest turn meter by 10%. So tossing out heals and also boosting turn meter. A2 is on two wings, which is an AoE, and before attacking removes all debuffs from all buffs from all enemies, excuse me. That has a 75% chance of placing block buffs, debuff, and decrease speed on enemies, and fills turn meter of all allies. Again, so taking off buffs from the enemy, slowing them down, and increasing your team's turn meter. Sky Mirage A3 increases resistance to perfect veil buff on allies. It decreases the cooldown of ally active skills. And the passive is called Draco Speed. Turn meter fill effects on allies that are stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, true fear, petrification, and sheep. Which sheep is not in Hydra, but it is in Arena. And then we also have the aura as ally resistance in all battles by 80. So really neat support debuff kind of champ to have. And we are going to see that we do have 4 pieces of perception on, as well as divine speed. Looks like we have some regular accessories here on the fact that Lewis got lucky and ended up getting like a nice mythic ring here. And let's check out the stats. So we're going to be going Hydra. We don't have anything extra here, but Pheidi's at 78,000 HP, 1900 attack, 2800 defense, 226 speed, not crit capped, which is okay. Because again, you know, Pheidi's not here for damage. Pheidi is here for support, right? 107% crit damage, 165 resistance, and then 416 on the accuracy. And if we're going to be looking at masteries, here are the masteries, which we are going to see down the offense and the support trees. What you don't see behind me is we do have one offense mastery here hidden, which is methodical. And then you are going to see that the T6 for Pheidi is going to be Elixir of Life with max HP plus 3000. Okay, so that is Pheidi, and then next up is Acrizia. Not necessarily that Acrizia really needs an introduction, because we already know how great Acrizia is, but if for some reason you're watching and you're just not sure what she is. Her A1 is called Unflagging Assault. She hits and has a chance of placing a decreased defense, and the damage increased by 10% each time this skill is used, and stacks up to 100%. So we're looking at enemy max HP on this, so she scales off enemy max HP. Battlefield Domination's an AoE twice. Places a shield, and the value of the shield is equal to 5% of her max HP for each crit. Shutdown hits twice. Has an 80% chance of stealing 100% of the target's turn meter before attacking. This effect cannot be resisted if the target has higher max HP than this champion. So again, we're looking at like boss killer kind of stuff, right? Because bosses are always going to have more max HP than she does. And passive is Grandeur. Decreases damage taken from AoE attacks by 50%. Again, great in the Hydra. If a target's max HP is more than double this champ's max HP, this champion's attack will deal damage based on the target's max HP instead of this champion's attack. Again, looking at bosses, right? And her aura is going to be increases ally crit rate in all battles by 19%. And we were fortunate enough here to have a 3-star blessing on her, which looks like Lewis chose Heaven Cast. Increases damage inflicted by this champion according to the number of buffs on them. Doesn't increase damage or poison HP burn and bombs. And so we are also getting extra HP attack and defense as well too. And for her masteries, we're down the offense and the support. And what you don't see behind me here is we have Methodical again. But with her T6 is going to be War Master. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go hop into Hydra with the teams I just showed. And like I said, primarily, you know, we have Pheidi and Acrizia. Now, I am not going to be doing the full run for Hydra. What we're going to do is we're going to queue up just so you guys can kind of see how it works. And I believe we're going to be doing Nightmare. Let me take a look. Yes, we're going to be doing Nightmare. Okay, battle, and here we go. Here is going to be our team. We have increased ally resistance in all battles by 80%. So we have Pheidi in lead. And here are going to be the presets. For Pheidi, we are going to be focusing on the Sky Mirage, which is increased resistance and perfect veil. I saw the name. It says Dwarves for the win. Those of you guys watching on YouTube, Lewis is like, look at the name. That's because we know Acrizia for sure. And we're going to be focusing on battlefield domination, which is going to be the AoE and the shields. Pythion, we're going to be doing his Rampicious Staff, which heals the ally with the lowest HP by 5% of the max HP each time, between also with the Shed Skin, which removes all debuffs from allies and then heals. Ugo Maelstrom Rack, AoE, and also does a decreased defense block buffs, also there for, you know, the revive if we end up needing that, as well as Pythion, both there for the revive. The RN Archer, Spinning Shot, AoE has stuns. If the target's a boss, there's a chance for decreased speed as well. Decreases turn meter of enemies as well, too. It fills turn meter of allies. And then Grazur. Don't really see him used too often, though I think we've done a couple showcases for viewers in the community, right? Healing Bombardment's an AoE and heals his champ by 10% of the damage dealt. And increases the duration of all buffs and allies by 1 turn. Maeve, thank you so much for the follow. And then we also have Provoke to increase resistance and increase defense. All right, so what we're gonna do is let's run this. Now we're not gonna do the quick battle, right? Because, you know, like I said, we're gonna do this and it's gonna take about like, I think Lewis said takes about like 20 minutes to a half hour or so. So I'm not gonna run the whole thing. I'm going to let Lewis kind of play out how he wants to actually do the Hydra. This is just so you can kind of see them in action in here as well too. And I do like Pheidi's animation of, you know, sword up in the air, kind of like flutters up there with the wings. Look at all the veils though. They're all hiding. So again, this is Nightmare. And those of you guys watching on YouTube, Twitch chat is asking Lewis about, you know, other places that he uses Acrizia. And yeah, he basically uses her almost like everywhere. She's a great champ to have. Look how much damage she does. Another kind of like boss killer type one. And we do have plenty of support here with the revives too, just in case, between Pythion and Ugo. Except you guys know, like, Pythion will revive. Ugo does an AoE revive if she's the last one up. But still good to have support there. All right, looks like we're going to have a head drop in a moment. There it is. So we're about a minute and a half in, and we're at about 10 mil damage here. Oh, and Lewis is pointing out that he also uses Pheidi and Ice Golem and Dragon. So I'd love to know, you know, those of you guys watching, do you have Pheidi? Pheidi happens to be a Void champ as well, too. So a bit harder to get a hold of. But I'd love to know if you have Pheidi, where are you using this cool lizard champ? And are you noticing a difference, right? So what we're probably going to do is we're probably going to stop the, Hydra run here. Like I said, I'm going to let Lewis kind of do his thing. Lewis, thank you so much for the showcase. Guys, make sure you drop some comments down below, especially if you have Pheidi, if you're using in other places, if you have, you know, different gear sets built differently, what are you finding with them? And guys, thanks for watching.